Many Bible examples are given of what should we do. In light of the coming problem, we are headed for disaster. There's a train wreck down the street. It's coming soon. What should we be doing now? While I was in prison writing this book, I had loads of time to pray and meditate and search the scriptures, and I really did. And I spent many hours meditating and praying about this and on my knees, Lord, show me, guide me. What should I be doing? And I'm just going to put together what God showed me, I think, from the scriptures. What did other people do? Many people through history have faced the same problem. Jeremiah knew the people, hey, we're going to go into captivity. What do I do? Okay, pack light. Many people have faced persecution and tribulation in the past. This is from my book I wrote. I'm just going to make comments on what I said back then when God got a hold of my heart over this about, it would have been about 2009. Paul reminds us in 1 Corinthians chapter 10 that Moses crossed the Red Sea and the people fell into various sins. They watched God as he miraculously parted the water. How could you not remember something like that? They got across into the desert. God led them out of Egypt. A whole nation brought out of slavery. That just never happens. Well, it did. They saw 10 miracles happen where plagues fell on Egypt. These people watched all of this. God led them out through the bottom of the Red Sea, which is about 900 feet deep where they crossed. So the water has to be standing beside them, almost as tall as the Sears Tower. I have always wondered if any fish fell out of the water. I can't think of any other time in history where a fish could fall out of the water. And if they did the Jews put them back? No, are you kidding? These are Jews. They're going to keep it. Okay, that's a joke, Anna. Okay, but they get over across into the desert and they start complaining again. They fall right back into their old pattern of griping and complaining. It's mind-boggling. These people, like, what's wrong with you? Well, they did. So he tells us what happened to them, and he says in 1 Corinthians chapter 10 that these things were written for our examples. He says that in verse 6. And then in verse 11 in the King James, it says they're written for our ensamples. Now, almost all the new Bible versions have changed that. They just say examples in both verses, 6 and 11. I think the King James is where God preserved his words. That's where I think it's flawless. I can't find a mistake in it. The other ones have some real serious problems. But examples and ensamples, I've studied this till my brain hurts, and I don't know that I have it solved, but I think I got a clue. It might help. I suspect there's a subtle difference between examples and ensamples. Ensamples might be what happens on the inside in the heart. Examples is more like on the outside. X for outside, N for inside. Just a thought. You think about it, let me know. Since the Old Testament stories are there for us to learn from, Paul said these stories are written for our ensamples, our examples, both. I think we can read the Old Testament stories and say, wow, that's a great example. I can learn something from that. That's what we do around here. We take people around and see the crooked tree and say, wow, you could learn something from that tree. Something got in its way when it was little. They decided to go around it. That's a great example. It really is. We can learn from the ants. We can learn from the mosquitoes. They keep at it till they get what they want. We should be teaching kids that all of science gives us things we can learn from. How to behave, how to do what's right. So let's see how they handled the tribulation. In book of Genesis chapter 4, Abel, Cain and Abel, how did he handle it? He died. Sometimes all you can do is obey God. He brought the right sacrifice. He brought the lamb. And then his brother killed him for it. There's nothing Abel could have done. You can't guard against somebody who's determined to kill you, sneak up by stealth behind you and hit you with a rock or a club, or we don't know how he killed him. But if somebody's determined to kill you, they're probably going to succeed. That's why when I get death threats, okay, bring it on. What are you going to do? Send me to heaven? Is that a threat? Okay. You can't threaten me with heaven. Come on, bring it up. I don't think Abel could have done much to prevent it. And I don't think we can do much to stop what's coming. It's coming. There'll be plenty of people, the Bible says 10,000 times 10,000, that's 100 million, who are going to be killed. Can you imagine 100 million people? That's more than the population of many, many countries in the world. America has what, 330 million now? Imagine 100 million. Alabama has, I think, 10 million people in the whole state. Florida has like 15 million or something like that. Imagine 100 million people getting killed. That's what it says is going to happen. Wicked men are going to succeed short term. And Noah, what did Noah do? Well, he was the only one in the world trying to obey God. He knew what was coming. Everyone else was wicked, so he built an ark to protect his family. Maybe God would guide you to do that, protect your family somehow from what's coming. I don't know how you're going to do it or where you're going to do it, but maybe that's where. And God provided a means to go through the flood. I can't escape the flood. I can go through it in an ark. Joseph, what did he do in Genesis 37? You can get advice from him. He was just 17 when his brothers turned on him and sold him as a slave. Keep in mind, I've never heard this preached on, but it'd be a good sermon. Joseph was raised with 3 stepmothers. Imagine that household. People think, oh, that's great. He had 4 wives. No. Sunday school teacher said, why did God let Solomon have 1,000 wives? Little boy said, God was punishing him. Joseph, what did he do? Well, he didn't express any bitterness toward his brothers. Later, 17 years later when he saw them, hi guys, he cried. Come on down. I'll welcome you. I'll feed you. I'll take care of you. Wow. Joseph was one of the few people in the Bible about which nothing bad is said. Not a thing bad about him. Not many people like that in the Bible. Not that he's perfect, but nothing is recorded that he did wrong. So he worked hard, and he didn't get bitter. They sold him into slavery. What do you do? Okay, I'm a slave. I'll work hard. I'll be a good slave. And he got promoted, didn't he? Then he faced persecution a second time in Genesis 39, and he was put in prison for doing right. His boss's wife tried to seduce him, and he ran out. Day after day after day, she tried to seduce him. Now, he would have been in his early 20s. I suspect that was quite a temptation to overcome. But he stood up for what was right. And then she lied about him and had him thrown in prison. So what did he do? He worked hard to make the prison better. And in prison, they said, we're going to put you in charge of this whole place. Man, you're good. And kids, if you hire in any place, if you hire into McDonald's, in the first 2 weeks, you should learn where everything is, where's the napkins and the straws and the cups, and keep everything full. Within about a week or 2, you should be able to know what your job is, and then you should see what needs to be done and do it. You notice, hey, the floor needs mopped. Well, go mop it. Don't wait till they tell you. Go mop it. Oh, table 7 is dirty. Okay, go clean it. Oh, the medium cup rack is empty, or they're out of straws. Go fix it. If the boss watches you, be a number 1 worker. You can see what needs to be done, and you go do it. They will quickly promote you to be assistant manager. The whole secret to life, in any job, doesn't matter what you're doing, even in prison, is be a diligent worker. Can't you see what needs to be done? I know people that can't see any. You got to tell them everything. Would you pick up that piece of paper? Oh, okay. Now go throw it in the garbage over there. Okay. Not good. Now come here. Now pick up the other one. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Oh, yeah. Can't see a thing. Honey, is your room clean? Oh, yeah. Did you make your bed? No, you didn't say make the bed, Mom. You just said clean. Oh. Did you pick up all the dirty clothes? No, you didn't say pick up the dirty clothes. Just like, okay. He worked hard to make the place better. He can't help it. He's in prison. Let's just make the place better. This one touched my heart. When I read about Joseph when I was in prison, I decided I'm going to try to do what I can in here to make the place better. I taught many guys how to read. Didn't know how to read. I taught 800 guys how to play the piano. I don't play well, but I can read music, so I could teach what I did. I did Bible study 4 times a day. We had a blast. You do what you can. God promoted him. So Joseph had what we call a bloom where you're planted attitude. Suppose things go wrong, the world falls apart. Suppose we are taken off into captivity. Suppose America loses the next war and we become a third world nation. Suppose the Chinese yen takes over the currency market and the American dollar collapses, which could happen. Suppose all of a sudden our money becomes like Confederate currency, useless. Suppose we become a third world country. Do you think that could happen? Are they fighting in Venezuela now because of the collapse of their economy? Yeah. All they're doing is printing paper. The U.S. government's one of the few entities I know of that can take a useful piece of paper, put some ink on it, and make it completely useless. That's what our money is. It's useless.
It's a negative.
It's a negative, yeah. It's a debt note. Now, everybody's still accepting it, so, you know, it's what we've got to work with. But what if it all collapses? It could happen tomorrow. What are you going to do? God is going to be with you in prison. If we are taken off into captivity, and some people may be, God can use you there too. I happen to know about that one. He can still use you, still do something for Him. Don't get discouraged. Don't get angry. Don't quit serving God. Don't get mad at God. Okay, God, who do you have for me to reach in here? And while I was in there, I wrote 37 books and earned another master's and 2 more doctorates, whether you atheists like it or not. That's what I did. And I worked for mine. I don't know if you worked for yours or not, or did you cheat to get yours? I don't know. I don't care, but I worked hard for mine. Okay. Then Joseph faced a third test. Almost immediately after getting out of prison, he was warned about the one that was coming. God had shown Pharaoh in a dream there would be 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of famine. God told Joseph what the dream meant. Faced a third test. Joseph's advice to Pharaoh. Pharaoh said, what's this dream mean? 7 good cows, 7 bad cows. 7 good ears of corn, 7 bad ears of corn. What's it mean? Joseph said, oh, Pharaoh, God just showed you there's going to be 7 good years and then 7 bad years. You better start saving up. They dug gigantic pits over there in the sandstone, big as this building, and have stairways on both sides. People would line up, go down, get the grain, come up the other side, pay for their grain. They found the pits. Ron Wyatt found them, verified these are the grain pits where they did this. They're still there. What would it be? Joseph would have been about 2000, not quite, 1800 BC, so 3,800 years ago. They're still there. Go to WyattMuseum.com. They got evidence about that. Maybe God will guide you. Hey, bad times are coming. We better save up. Let's fill the pantry. Now, let me give you some advice. If you do save up a bunch of stuff, don't go on TV on Doomsday Preppers and show the world, hey, here's what I got saved up in my basement. Oh, brilliant. Guess what the neighbors are going to do when things get bad? It's like, think about that for a minute. Okay, it's probably more than interesting. The Egyptians did not save up. God told Joseph to tell Pharaoh, you're going to have 7 good years and 7 bad years. So Pharaoh said, well, let's start gathering up 20%. Or Joseph said, I suggest you gather 20% during the good years, and then we'll have something to eat during the bad years. Let's just imagine, to take an example, that the average person made $100 a week. Now they got to pay $20 a week to Pharaoh. So they make $100 a week. Pharaoh takes 20. They were better off than Americans. I think Pharaoh here takes a lot more than that, doesn't he? Yeah. Anyway, it's another story. So during the good years, now they're making $100 a week. Like, whoa, this is great. They can still live off the 80. But after that 7 years is over, now Pharaoh's going to start feeding them. So the max he could feed them is something less than $20 a week, because that's what he saved up, right? So apparently you could live on $20 a week in that time. So when the times were great and they were making 100 a week and they gave Pharaoh 20, they kept 80. They should have saved their own 20 also and lived off the 60. None of the Egyptians saved up a thing. So they had to become dependent on the government, which the government loves that stuff. They want everybody dependent on them for everything. That's what they want. At the end of the story, the government owned everything. Read Genesis. They owned the land, they owned the animals, and they owned the people as perpetual servants of Pharaoh. Why? Because the people didn't save up. They couldn't take care of themselves. Had to go to the government for help. It's going to happen again. Hovind prediction. Joseph is one of the very few people in the Bible that nothing bad is ever said about. He's a type of Christ. He was betrayed by his own brethren, but then he saved them. Yeah, just like Jesus. Okay, what about King Jehoshaphat? 2 Chronicles chapter 17 through 20. King Jehoshaphat's an interesting fellow. He faced a serious time. The enemy was at the gates, and they were outnumbered him 10-1. What do I do? The Ammonites and the Moabites came to attack him. By the way, the Ammonites and the Moabites never should have been born. Does anybody know where the Ammonites and the Moabites come from in the Bible? Lot's daughters thought the whole world had been destroyed. They got their dad drunk and got pregnant by their own dad. And the Ammonites and the Moabites are two nations that never should have been born. The whole nation shouldn't exist. But to show God's amazing mercy, you can't help what your parents and grandparents did. None of us can. We can't help that. But if you say, I want to serve you, Lord, okay, he'll take anybody. Anybody ever heard of Ruth, the book of Ruth in the Bible? Guess what Ruth was? A Moabite. She said, I want to serve God. Okay, come on. She's King David's grandmother. Yeah. It doesn't matter what mama did or daddy did. Just shut your mouth, quit your whining, and go serve God. Okay? No excuses. Anyway, they never should have been born. Jehoshaphat took some steps. He knew we're going to face the enemy. They're going to surround our city and they're going to besiege us. Now, people that study warfare will tell you a properly laid siege around a city will always eventually win. It is not possible to withstand a siege forever. The outside forces are going to win, except for some miracle. So they laid a siege to the city. He knew there was a disaster coming. If we study what King Jehoshaphat did, we can learn a lot about what's coming here. Get some ideas from King Jehoshaphat 3,500 years ago of what we should be doing. All of them are found in 2 Chronicles chapter 20. When I read through that chapter, as I was writing this chapter for my book, I thought, wow, Lord, this is brilliant. This is great advice. Remember, the things that are written in the Bible are for our examples and for our ensamples. You read a story from 3,000 years ago and say, wow, that applies to me. Yeah, it does. What did he do? First thing he did, I'm going to seek the Lord. Lord, what do I do? And I think with the impending disaster we're facing, I think all of us should be seeking the Lord, especially you dads. What should I do? This is my family at risk here. Lord, please show me, guide me, show me what to do. Secondly, he fasted. Quit eating for a couple days. Fasting helps the body and the mind get in subjection to the spirit. So you have a body and a soul and a spirit. And most people are run by their body instead of run by their spirit. Most people, they answer all the demands of the flesh. I'm hungry, let's eat. I'm thirsty, I want this. If your flesh wants it, you got to have it. Fasting helps you get your flesh under control. Say, hold on just a minute, body. See, you are a spirit, you live in a body. It's like driving a car. You should be in charge of the car, not the car in charge of you. How many have ever been in a car and you lost control of the car? All of a sudden, the car's in control, spinning around on the snow or on the ice or going over a cliff. Like the one preacher told the story, he was driving through the mountain, true story, driving through the mountains, fell asleep at the wheel, shot over through the guardrail. As he's flying out, he wakes up, he looks down, way below him is the creek, and he hollers, God, save me. Bam, hits the creek, car explodes all over the valley. He stands up and looks around, he doesn't have a scratch on him. He said, I should have prayed for the car too. I mean, the way it ought to be is you should be in control of the car, not the car in control of you. And if you ever get to the place where you can't control your car, like it weaves all over the place because the linkage is bad or the steering box is going bad, you go get it fixed, don't you? Well, I know a lot of people that better go fix it because they got a problem. Their body controls them. They always cave in to the lust of the flesh. Anyway, third thing he did, he enlisted others to pray. He told all the people, let's pray and ask God to give us wisdom. This enemy outside the gate is huge. What do we do? 4, stand up and let others know we're asking God for help. Called for a public prayer meeting. Hey, we're going to ask God to help us. We got an enemy outside that's huge. We can't beat him. God, help us, and would everybody please pray? That's his advice. I think that's good advice. That applies today with what's coming. Number 5, he reminded God of how great he was. In his prayer, God, you're great. You can do anything. You can part the Red Sea. Brag on God for a while. And he doesn't need you to brag on him for his ego's sake, but he needs you to brag on him to put yourself in your place. You're this, he's this, okay? Let's keep it straight, okay? So brag on God. He loves that. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Jesus said that's how we're supposed to pray. Exalt God first of all. Number 6, admit that we are powerless in this fight. We cannot beat this enemy. And so that's what he did. We don't know what to do. Just admit it. Lord, I don't know what to do. Guide me, show me. I go up on that sand dune many times and pray that prayer. Lord, I don't know what to do. Would you guide me? Show me, Lord. I just want to know. I want your guidance. I want you to help. Then involve your family in this time of prayer and trusting. Hezekiah got his whole family involved. Everybody come. Let's pray together. Number 8, listen to the advice of a spirit-filled man of God. The prophet came to him and said, hey, Hezekiah, God told me to come tell you, here's what you ought to do. Oh, okay. You better have some good man of God in your life you can go to for advice. Number 9, don't be afraid. This is God's problem, not ours. This is good advice for what's coming to now. Number 10, go where God tells you to go. I want to be right smack in the middle of God's will. God could provide for you in the middle of a lion's den. Couldn't he? In the middle of a poverty-stricken, famished country, God told his preacher Elijah to go to the brook, and he had the ravens bring him food. The ravens got to be the greediest bird in the world. They don't give food to their own spouse. Husband and wife ravens will fight over the food. And they brought Elijah food. I mean, that's stunning when you stop and think about that. Stand still right where we are and watch God work. All he could do is pray. Jehoshaphat prayed, Lord, what do I do? They've surrounded the city. I can't beat these folks. I'm trusting in you, Lord. Would you please do something? Then number 12, praise God with a loud voice and singing. They did that in 2 Chronicles. Marvel at the 100% victory God gives and haul off the spoil. The lepers were in the gate. They said, well, we're going to die here, or if we go out to the Syrians, we're going to die. If we go into the city, we're going to die. They're starving. If we stay here, we're going to die. Let's go to the Syrians. Let's surrender. So these 4 lepers walk out, and they look around, and everybody's gone. All the tents are full of food. They start eating and pigging out, and they said, well, this isn't good. We shouldn't be doing this. The people are starving in the city. Let's go tell them. They went back in and said, hey, guys, the Syrians are all gone. Their tents are full of food. Come on, let's go get it. People said, yeah, right, that's a trick. They know we're starving, so they left, and they're going to hide in the woods, and when we come out, they're going to get us. And no, God had caused a noise to go into their ears, the Syrians, and they fled. And the faster they ran, the more scared they got, and they were throwing their weapons down, throwing their clothes down. They wanted to get out of town. And so the people came out, and there was everything they needed right there for them. Great story. Read 2 Chronicles chapter 20. Amazing story. So God said, okay, go haul off the spoil. Go pick it all up. It's amazing. More than they could haul off. And don't forget to thank God when it's over with. And do the right thing the rest of your life. There ought to be some times in your life that just influence you and change you forever. Say, God, I'm going to serve you the rest of my life. I don't serve God because I'm afraid I'll go to hell if I don't. I'm not afraid I'll lose my salvation. I think that's a damnable doctrine. I can't lose it. For 49 years, I have believed I cannot lose my salvation, and it has not caused me to want to go back into sin. It's caused me to be thankful. Hey, thank you, God. Wow, this is awesome. One more. In the book of Acts, chapter 7, Stephen faced a problem. They were going to stone him. They didn't like his preaching. They're going to kill him. He was filled with God's Spirit, and he preached the truth with boldness before a hostile crowd, but he was gentle and kind, and they stoned him to death. While he was dying, he prayed, Lord, lay not this sin to their charge. Wow. If we're called on to die, we need to be forgiving. Our tormentors will face God over their sin, and we will inherit the kingdom. So be joyful. If worse comes to worse, and they start bringing us out to cut people's heads off or put into slavery, like they do in many countries right now, I think we should take the advice of Stephen. Lord, don't lay this sin to their charge. That's going to be a tough one, because the natural reaction is going to be bitter and angry. You don't have a right to do this. This ain't right. Like what they did to me. I didn't break one single law. They put me in prison for nearly 9 years. I'm still on probation. I've been under their thumb for, 13 years. And I didn't break a single law. They broke 100 laws to put me in prison. So I have to pray, Lord, I put this in your hands. I want you to take care of it. My hands are off. I'm going to, like Job did, proclaim my innocence. Job never admitted he didn't do anything wrong, and he didn't. So he didn't admit it. He hadn't done anything wrong. What did Daniel do? Well, we're talking about Daniel and a bunch of others. There's lots of advice in the Bible of what we ought to do when bad times come. I think, my chapter 7 of my book, what should we do? I think that's probably the most valuable thing that everybody ought to read in the book in light of what's coming. Okay, what should we do about it? There's tons of advice in the Bible. And as I was writing this one, I was touched probably more than any other time in the whole book. Wow, that's great advice, God. It's right there in your word. What should we be doing? Well, Jesus already showed us how to do it. So did the Apostle Paul. So did Daniel. So did King Nebuchadnezzar. They all showed us what to do. It's all right there. So all these things are written for our examples. You want to know what to do in light of what's coming? Get the book. Call 855-BIG-DINO, extension 1, and talk to Anna, and she'll say, hi, it's Anna. Would you like to get the book? Yeah, I'd like to get the book.
Or the website.
Or the website, drdino.com. Okay. That was good singing, by the way, Anna. What's above soprano? What do they call that?